Monday, May 19th, 2014. Monday, May 19th, 2014. Welcome aboard, everybody. Dr. Peter Glidden, your steadfast advocate for health, welcoming you to another live edition of Fire Your MD Now, especially if you are brandy spanking new. If this is the first time you've listened to this show, welcome aboard. I go out of my way to not sugarcoat things and to pull back the curtain on the way that medicine is delivered here in the not-so-free world, because there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that most people they're completely unaware of, and it makes all of the difference in the world. The medical profession that has dominated the world medical stage for the last 80 years are the MDs and the pharmaceutical companies. And the MDs, bless their hearts, don't know what's best for you. The MDs only know what they've been trained in. And when it comes to chronic disease, the tools that the MDs are trained in are completely ineffective. This is why chronic diseases are escalating rapidly. Alzheimer's, autism, high blood pressure, cancer, arthritis, obesity. It's going up and up and up. These diseases are getting worse and worse and worse for one reason and one reason only. Your MD doesn't know how to fix them. Your MD's training makes them not concerned even with what causes them. And it becomes a ship of fools, one leading the other. Now, when it comes to trauma, the MDs are pretty good. And when it comes to surgery that's absolutely necessary, the MDs are pretty good. There's always room for improvement, but that's the wheelhouse of the MD, trauma care and emergency medicine. But for everything else, their therapeutics are the leading cause of bankruptcy and the leading cause of death. Like the fella said, what's the most expensive medicine? Well, the one that doesn't work. So, if you were an evil genius and you wanted to hurt humanity, if you were an evil genius and you wanted to hurt humanity, but you wanted to do it slowly, you didn't want to do it with a nuclear blast and then everybody's gone in an instant. You wanted to do it slowly and insidiously, and you wanted to make money on it, what would you do? Well, if I were an evil genius and that was my agenda, I would bring a drug to the medical marketplace and I would convince people that they absolutely positively couldn't live without it, that they absolutely positively needed it, and that it was an absolutely vital thing for human health. I would bring antacids to the foreground. Antacid sales top $10 billion annually. Antacid sales top $10 billion in sales annually. That's billion with a B, and that's just in the United States. About 100 million Americans experience heartburn every month, and 15 million battle it at least once a day. Now, let's think this through. The MDs don't know what causes anything, and they're not concerned with what causes anything. And their therapeutic training lies only in the domain of delivering drugs to people to help them manage the symptoms, kind of like painting over the mold in the basement or sweeping things under the rug. So, somebody goes to an MD and they're presenting with heartburn. The MD doesn't know what causes the heartburn. The MD thinks that it's just, a matter of time until something goes wrong in the stomach. That the human body is just a bag filled with biochemicals. There is no soul force. There is no vital force. There is no inherent pranic intelligence which resides inside the body, and everything is just a random, haphazard accumulation of biochemicals which is bound to fail. So eventually, somebody's body starts making too much stomach acid. Now, I've asked physiologists for the last 30 years, what is the physiological mechanism which allows a human body to produce too much stomach acid? Nobody can tell me the answer to that question, except by leaning on the old saw, well, it must be genetic. We just haven't discovered that gene yet, though. Nonsense. But the MD, thinks that heartburn is caused by too much stomach acid, and so they prescribe antacids or proton pump inhibitors, the intention of which are to completely eliminate the body's ability to produce stomach acid. Well, stomach acid is a vital step in the digestion of food. Stomach acid is a vital step in the digestion of food. Digestion starts in the mouth with your teeth and your saliva. Your teeth break the food down into smaller particles than you put on your fork or your spoon. The food mixes with saliva, which starts the process of chemical digestion, and then you swallow it. The food drops into your stomach, which is basically a big bag of acid. And if you are healthy, the acid in your stomach is extremely strong. The acid in your stomach is so strong that if you were to cut your finger off and swallow it, your stomach acid would digest it down to the bone. Digest it down to the bone. Your stomach acid is extremely acidic when you are healthy. So in a healthy person, the food goes into the stomach and it's turned into a liquid. The solid stuff that your teeth just pounded up into smaller pieces are now liquefied. And then the liquefied food passes from the stomach into your small intestine, where it is absorbed into the bloodstream. And that's how the body becomes nutrified. But the body needs more than just calories and sugar and protein in order to make it through the day. The body needs 90 essential nutrients. The body needs calcium. The body needs magnesium and zinc and sulfur and silica and vitamin A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. Well, maybe not F. No vitamin F yet that I'm aware of. So we eat food in order to extract the raw materials that the body needs in order to make it through the day and to function the way that God intended it to. And the digestive process is like a series of dominoes, one toppling the next over. Now, as any domino enthusiast will tell you, if you remove one of the dominoes in the domino string, all the dominoes downstream from the domino that you removed don't become affected. And so it goes with the human digestive process. So you present with heartburn. The MDs assume that this is caused by too much stomach acid, but they are completely incapable of telling you the physiological process which caused your stomach to make too much acid in the first place. They just throw up their hands and say, I don't know, c'est la vie, that's life. And they recommend you take a prescription medication or an over-the-counter medication, which used to be a prescription medication, in order to suppress your body's ability to produce or secrete stomach acid. And so now that big bag of acid in your stomach dries up. So what happens now? Well, there's no more heartburn, right? Because there's no acid anything in the stomach. So here's what happens. You put a piece of food in your mouth, you chew it up. Your teeth chomp it down into smaller pieces, and it mixes with the saliva in your mouth, which starts the chemical digestion process. You swallow that lump of food, and the food goes into the stomach. Plop, plop, no fizz, fizz. The food just sits there in the stomach because it is unable to be chemically digested because there's no more acid in the stomach. So now the food, which is supposed to be turned into a liquid, remains a solid. And there's no digestion that happens to it. And then that solid particle of food passes from the stomach into the small intestine. And as the small intestine tries to deal with this, it's like trying to deal with a foreign invader. It's something that it doesn't expect. It's something that ought to be there. Shouldn't ought to be there. But there it is, tumbling through the intestinal tract, a solid mass of partially digested food that is supposed to be in a liquid form, but it's in a solid form. And as it passes through the small intestine, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that it's going to cause mechanical harm. But the bigger harm here is, remember, it's supposed to be a liquid. Why is it supposed to be a liquid? Because the tissue in the small intestine's job is to absorb the liquid. It can't absorb a solid. Your intestinal tract cannot absorb solids. You know, it's like you can't absorb a solid. It can only absorb a liquid, but the food's not liquid. It's in a solid form, so guess what happens? That great big lobster lunch that you just ate, that great big T-bone steak, that great big vegan hamburger, is undigested. And so it passes through the intestinal tract, and the body pulls very little, if any, nutrition from the food. You can pull a little bit out of it because there is a little bit of chemical digestion that happens through pancreatic acid and bile in the small intestine. So a little bit happens, but not a lot. So the more the antacids that you take and the more proton pump inhibitors that you take, the greater are your nutrient deficiencies. Antacids and proton pump inhibitors drive nutrient deficiencies. All chronic diseases are caused by nutrient deficiencies. So the consistent use of antacids and proton pump inhibitors, which, by the way, in the U.S. top $10 billion a year, are the main drivers of chronic disease. So the more antacids you take, the more proton pump inhibitors you take, the less nutrified your body becomes. Your body wasn't properly nutrified to begin with, and so this is like throwing gasoline on a fire, and this will accelerate the genesis of all chronic disease. So again, if I was an evil genius and I wanted to hurt people and I wanted to profit by hurting people, I would encourage everybody to take proton pump inhibitors and antacids, because the more of these things that they take, the greater the incidence of chronic disease. And then, oh, by the way, the more money people are going to have to give the medical facility in order to manage their problem. More high blood pressure, more type 2 diabetes, more arthritis, more multiple sclerosis, lions and tigers and bears. Oh my, it's a good thing I'm not an evil genius. But I want you to take a look around and tell me who you think is. Welcome back, everybody. Happy Monday. I hope you had a great weekend. I always say this because I mean it. If you become a Youngevity member, if you become a Youngevity distributor, and you work it even part-time, soon you will be able to grow your Youngevity business into an income-generating giant, which will allow you to quit your job and then imagine what you could do if you would do Youngevity full-time. If you did Youngevity full-time, stayed in your lane, learned how to do it correctly, well, there is no limit to the amount of influence that you can spread in the world and your bottom line. There's no limit to it. It's limitless. And that beats a poke in the eye with a sharp stick. Now, let's complete this thought process, right? So the people that you trust to deliver you into a state of health, the MDs, the people that have monopolized the medical marketplace, the people who you give hard-earned money every month just to gain access to, when you're sick, don't know what causes heartburn. And because they're clueless about this, the therapeutics that they recommend actually facilitate your sickness. Now, is this a good thing or a bad thing? Well, it's a bad thing. Because you go to these people expecting them to help you. You don't expect them to hurt you, but they do it. And they do it either vertently or inadvertently. I really don't think that MDs do this vertently. They don't do it on purpose. They just toe the company line and they haven't thought it through. They were taught that nobody knows what the cause of heartburn is, and when they were in medical school, and that's what 100 of their, half-witted colleagues thought. And I'm choosing my words carefully because you have to have half a wit to not think things through. You have to have half a wit not to think things through. They haven't thought it through. Really? We don't know what causes heartburn, boys? Really? Yet we don't know what? You think a medical student somewhere would say, wait a minute. I'm paying you what? How many hundreds of $1,000s for this education? Isn't this Harvard? Isn't this Tufts? Isn't this Princeton? Isn't this UCLA? I expected more. Holy smokes, I expected you to be able to tell me what causes heartburn. You don't even know what causes heartburn. I want my money back. I'm transferring to a different school. Yeah, but they never say that, because the education of a doctoral degree candidate does not open minds. It closes minds. That's the intention of the program. It's not to make people think. It's to make people memorize and toe the party line. Now, look, don't get me wrong. I'm not recommending you suffer in silence if you have heartburn. I recommend that you go to a licensed physician who has a clue about what causes heartburn and get on board with a medical therapy that's going to fix it. That's a better idea, don't you think, than just managing it and then suffering from all of the side effects thereof, more chronic disease? It's a fool's errand, ladies and gentlemen, and the fact of the matter is that, for better or for worse, your MD is facilitating this. And it's a problem. I mean, what would you think if you went to your MD and they told you to do asbestos? They wanted you to drink a glass full of asbestos every day. What would you think of them? Well, you'd want them investigated, wouldn't you? Well, you got to drink this hemlock. That's what you need to do. Here, drink this radioactive orange juice. That's what you need to do. You wouldn't allow that. But you don't bat an eyelash when they prescribe a proton pump inhibitor or an antacid because you don't know any better and you have put your trust in the wrong medical profession. Heartburn is caused by not too much stomach acid, but by not enough. When you don't have enough stomach acid, your body produces an excess of a chemical called gastrin. Gastrin is a precursor to hydrochloric acid and pepsin, which are the major digestive engines, the major digestive chemicals in the stomach. When there's food in your stomach, the food presses against the walls of the stomach, stimulating a receptor that dumps gastrin into the stomach. Gastrin then provokes the secretion of hydrochloric acid and pepsin. It's like the domino thing all over again. So when you remove one of the dominoes, well, guess what? You're in a world of hurt. Your body needs calcium and it needs salt in order to make and secrete hydrochloric acid and pepsin. So you eat some food, your body's calcium deficient, your body's salt deficient. The food presses against the receptor and gastrin is dumped into the stomach. As gastrin is in the stomach, it says, hey, give me some hydrochloric acid, but your stomach doesn't have any because it's calcium and salt deficient. So gastrin builds up. As more and more gastrin is in the stomach, a little valve at the top of the stomach opens up and the gastrin squirts back into the esophagus, causing a heartburn, and then you're screwed. You want to support and promote the structure and function of your stomach in a heartburn situation? Welcome back, everybody. So if you're suffering with heartburn, a prudent thing to do would be to start salting your food so that it tastes good. Start salting your food so that it tastes good, and swallow the contents of one healthy digestion pack per 100 pounds of body weight per month. That's the original formula, healthy digestion pack with the liquid calcium, one healthy digestion pack per 100 pounds of body weight per month. And 99.9999999 times out of 100, the heartburn goes away. And this is a much better deal than just drying up your stomach acid with proton pump inhibitors and antacids, the net negative effects of which are monstrous. Monstrous. Quite frankly, we think not too well about the physicians back in the day who used to give their patients large doses of mercury. We don't think so kindly about the patients who used to bleed, the doctors who used to bleed their patients to death. And we shouldn't think too kindly either about doctors who prescribe antacids or proton pump inhibitors, because they're hurting the people that they took an oath to protect simply because they're too intellectually cowardly to think it through. And, they've aligned themselves with an ideology, a methodology, which is completely out of sync with what it really means to be a human being, which is that your body is a holistic organism. Your body is a complex system of interrelated parts, which is governed by your innate, God-given spiritual intelligence. Your body is so smart it grew itself all by itself from a single-celled organism into you. Now, you think if it could do that, it knows how to fix itself? Well, we say yes. The MDs say no. Who you gonna believe? Let's go to California and talk to Kathy and see who she's going to believe. Hey, Kathy, thanks for the phone call. You are live.
Yes, I was calling in for a friend, and they are functioning with the EGFR at 14%, and they also have high blood pressure, insomnia, and anxiety. The only thing they have on right now is water pills for the high blood pressure.
Yeah, great. So this person has, kidney problems, right? And so what are they recommending? Maybe dialysis in 6 months or whatever?
Yes.
Okay. So this is interesting, don't you think? And this is telling about the methodology that the MDs bring to bear on this. So you go in and you have a problem with your kidneys. Remember, the MDs are not trained to know what causes anything. They're just trained to know how to manage the symptoms. So your kidneys are failing, and rather than investigate why, you would think that they would ask themselves that question at some point in time. Rather than ask themselves why, the MDs just throw up their hand and say, it's a gigantic mystery. There's nothing we can do now. Come back when the kidneys are broken and we'll put you on dialysis. Now, if that point of view doesn't make you unbelievably horrified at the mere presence of anybody on the planet in a general family practice with a white coat, I don't know what's going to. It's just nuts what these people get away with and what we have gotten used to culturally for the delivery of medicine. We've gotten used to incompetence. And quite frankly, it's killing us. Now, most of the time when the kidney is negatively affected, the kidney itself is fine. It's the blood flow in and around the kidney that's messed up. So, in order to support and promote healthy kidney function, the recommendation is 1 anti-aging healthy start pack original formula, 1 anti-aging healthy start pack original formula, 2 bottles of Ultimate Selenium, and 2 bottles of Z-Radical, 1 bottle of Ultimate Daily Capsules per 100 pounds of body weight per month, plus eliminate the 10 bad foods. From our point of view, anxiety is linked to not enough calcium and magnesium. High blood pressure, of course, is most probably linked to the kidney illness here. And because this is comprehensive, holistic medical nutrition, we're not just focusing on the kidney, right? This is a whole body recovery program, a whole person recovery program with a little extra emphasis on kidney health and, in this case, circulatory health. So that's what I would do, and I would counsel the person to pay attention to how they feel across the board, mood, energy, sleep, appetite, everything, as they're judging the effectiveness of the program over the next 90 days. 90 for life for 90 days before you judge it up or down. Does that sound like a plan?
Yes.
All right, Kathy, anything else?
I wanted to ask about the Ultimate Dailies. Are those pretty good in substitute of the Healthy Pack?
No. It's a great product, but we don't use it as a substitute. We use it as an add-on. Now, there are rare instances in which people have an extremely messed up digestive tract, and their bodies have allergic reactions to everything. And so they'll take the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, which is part of the Healthy Pack, and that's got 117 fruits and vegetables in it. And they have a mild allergic reaction to 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 20 or 30 of the fruits and vegetables in there because their digestive tract is in such a problematic state. For people who have a negative reaction to the stuff in the Healthy Pack, then you can do a workaround by using the Ultimate... Yeah, the Ultimate Daily Capsules, the EFAs, the plant-derived minerals, the Ultimate Daily Capsules, the EFAs, and the plant-derived minerals would not be a bad place to go. But listen, if that's the problem, then from our point of view, the root cause of that is a funky digestive tract. And the root cause of a funky digestive tract is wheat, barley, rye, and oats, and the other 6 of the 10 bad foods. So you have to clean your diet up. You have to stop eating those foods. And I would take a little extra digestive support. I would do the Nightly Essence or the Flora FX or the Root Beer Belly as an add-on for 1 or 2 or 3 months. I would also do the Maqui Plus, MAQUI Plus, for 1, 2, or 3 months, bottle or 2 a month. You need to support and promote the structure and function of your digestive tract if you're having a hard time with the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, because it's not the supplement. It's your body's reaction to the supplement. But in the meantime, the Ultimate Daily Caps, the plant-derived minerals, and the EFAs are not a bad substitute. I appreciate the call, Kathy. Thanks so much. Staying in L.A., going to talk to Celeste. I hit the wrong button. Why do I do that, Celeste? I'm so sorry. Give me a call back, Celeste, and I will put you in the top of the queue. Maybe that's you calling back right now. Hold on, folks. I'm going to see if this is Celeste ringing us back. Nope. Celeste, give me a call back. I'll bring you right up. Let's go up to Alberta and see what Hal is up to. Hey, Hal, thanks for the phone call. You are live.
Yes, I have some questions about the Tangy Tangerine. I received it last week, and I took it. I took 2 scoops in the morning with a glass of water. And in a few hours, I started getting a real pain in my foot, and I didn't make any connection to what was going on. I took 1 scoop for bedtime. The next morning, I couldn't walk, and then I realized what was going on. I was having a real gout attack, which I've had once before, about a year ago. So I'm looking at the ingredients, and I couldn't see anything that maybe would increase my uric acid level, except possibly the inositol.
Well, that's a real stretch, man. Although, you know, your experience speaks for itself, right? So you're pretty much sure that this wasn't a coincidence and that you weren't eating foods that were high in purines on the same couple of days, right?
No, I would say no.
Okay. Well, all right. Yeah. So then this wouldn't be a uric acid diathesis thing. This wouldn't be a uric acid diathesis. It would be a low-grade delayed hypersensitivity food allergy. Because when you consume a food that you're allergic to, especially in a concentrated dose, as such are found in the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, it will provoke an inflammatory reaction, and people's bodies tend to inflame in the weakest part of their chain. And for people that have gout, it's the tissue that's affected by the gout. So there's a lot of things that can create a gouty flare-up, not just uric acid. So my guess here would be, Hal, that this was a delayed hypersensitivity food allergy provoked by one of the 117 or more of the one or more of the fruits and vegetables that are in the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. Were you taking the red one, the red powder in the blue bottle, or the orange powder in the orange bottle?
It's the blue bottle.
Okay, so I would send it back to the company because there's a 30-day money-back guarantee, right? Send it back to the company or sell it to one of your neighbors or whatever, and switch it out to the Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0, because that stuff... Excuse me, I've got the sneezes this afternoon. That stuff, the 2.0, the Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0, has less allergic foods in them. Now, from my point of view, all of this begs the question, were you at any moment in time in your life ever on high doses of antibiotics for a long time?
Not for a long time, no.
Like more than a month? Were you ever on antibiotics for more than a month?
I don't believe so, not that I recall.
Okay. And what's your relationship historically to whole grains been like?
I've never really noticed a problem. I've been gluten-free for about 6 months now.
Okay, but before that, you were eating bread and pasta on a regular basis?
Yes.
Okay, so we've talked a lot, Hal. I would just, for educational purposes, review the webinar that I did on the 10 bad foods. I just reproduced that a couple of weeks ago, and it's part of the stuff that we offer for free on my website. I would review that webinar with special attention to wheat, barley, rye, and oats. Now, I understand that you're gluten-free, and that's a great thing, but when people eat gluten, there are negative things that happen to the intestinal tract, and one of the fallouts from that is the development of food allergies. So if I'm right, and this reaction to the Beyond Tangy was a food allergy, there has to be a cause for that, and the most common cause is wheat, barley, rye, and oats, for 30, 40 years before you went gluten-free. So part of your recovery program, given that reaction, would be you have to give the digestive tract more support. So what I would add to your program is the root beer belly. I would get 1 box of root beer belly a month, and I would take 1 root beer belly a day. And that's just a little tiny packet with some powder in it. You open it up and pour the powder directly on your tongue. Tastes exactly like a root beer popsicle that we used to get when we were kids. That gives your digestive tract the beneficial bacteria that it needs to be healthy. And I would also get a bottle or 2 of the Maquis Plus, MAQUI Plus, and do an ounce or 2 for 4 weeks, an ounce or 2 a day for 4 weeks to help support and promote the integrity of the intestinal tract. And as you go down the stream, Hal, further and further and further away from gluten, with more and more and more of the good stuff in your body, then you should be able eventually, maybe 9 months from now, to tolerate the original Tangy without problem. My advice now, switch it to 2.0, give it a run for a couple days, and call me back with a report. I'll look forward to that. Thanks so much for the call. Stick around, folks. We're going to Kim in Vermont next. Welcome back, everybody. Well, guess what? Celeste found her way back, so we're going to go to Celeste first. So, sorry, I hit the wrong button. Hey, Celeste, thanks for the phone back. You are live.
Hi, Dr. Good. I was wondering if selenium would help me for being tired and sad.
Well, it's entirely possible. Has anybody ever assessed your thyroid function? Has anybody ever told you have an underactive thyroid?
No.
Okay.
He just wanted to put me on antidepressant, and I told him no.
Yeah. Well, have you taken any of the longevity supplements so far?
Yeah, I'm the one that OD'd the three Tangy Tangerine, the 3 Osteo-FS, and
yeah.
I'm the one.
Yeah. So you've dialed that back now, and you're no longer having a negative reaction to it?
No, I'm better. I see better. I'm feeling better. I sleep wonderful at night. And I'm doing 2 scoops of Tangy Tangerines a day. I do 3 EFA, 1 at breakfast, lunch, and supper. And I do the Osteo, an ounce of Osteo, breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Okay. And you're just maybe thinking maybe there's something you can do to help your mood.
Yeah, it's like bedroom messing up things. Everything is just, I'm just sad and just tired when I get up in the morning. I feel like I've rested. I feel the difference since I've start doing the Osteo-FX. I feel like I've been asleep the next morning. It's just that after I get up and I do breakfast, which is like a poached egg or boiled egg, and I do a piece of, toast, and that's it. But I start to feel tired and droopy and sad.
Okay, good. All right, good. So you're doing gluten-free toast, right?
I do the Ezekiel.
Now you gotta eliminate all 10 bad foods, and Ezekiel bread is a bad food. Okay.
Okay.
So you can have gluten-free bread as much as you want. no problem. Gluten-free toast. I have gluten-free toast practically every morning. You can have gluten-free pancakes, gluten-free waffles, gluten-free whatever you want. It's got to be gluten-free, though, and Ezekiel bread is not gluten-free, okay? Now, I think there's a strong possibility that you might have an allergy to eggs, because one of the cardinal symptoms of eating a food that you're allergic to is your energy gets drained about 15, 20 minutes after you eat it. And you just feel like, you get all depressed and you get funky and you just don't want to do anything. And it's like, crap, man, I feel like crap.
Yeah.
Right? So, as an experiment, here's what I'd like you to do for breakfast for the next 3 days in a row. I want you to eat the leftovers from dinner the night before. I want you to have leftovers from dinner the night before for breakfast. No more eggs. No more Ezekiel bread, for goodness sake. Throw that stuff out.
Okay.
Burn that stuff in effigy, for goodness sake. No more of that stuff, okay? No more eggs. Just do a little experiment here for 3 days in a row. No eggs, no Ezekiel bread. Have something different for breakfast. And the easiest thing that there is to do for breakfast is leftovers from the night before. So that's what I would do. Do that for 3 days. So this is Monday, right? So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'm off on Friday, but give me a call back Thursday. You'll be 2 days into it. And you can tell me whether or not you notice a difference in your energy, number one. Now, I have another trick up my sleeve, Celeste. Do any of your friends, are any of your friends diabetic?
My husband is type 2.
All right. Excellent. Does your husband have the little blood sugar finger prick thing?
Yes.
All right. The next time you feel funky, after, you eat breakfast, take your blood sugar with his thing, and then take your blood sugar later in the day when you feel less funky, and compare the two, and then call me back with those results. This is either a food allergy or a blood sugar issue, and I'm going to bet you 25 cents it's a food allergy. But there's only one way to find out. It's 1 day at a time. So try that on for size, Celeste. I'm glad you called back. Give me a call back in 2 days with a report, and we will take it to the next step. And that's how we roll here, ladies and gentlemen, one person at a time. Hour 2 coming up. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden, your steadfast advocate for health. This is Fire Your MD Now. Stick around. So if you know anybody that's suffering with heartburn, if you know anybody that's on a proton pump inhibitor or antacids, send them a link to the webinar that I did on heartburn. It could literally save their life, save the lives of people in your world by helping them get educated about what's really going on with human physiology. Because, again, remember, your medical doctor may be the nicest human being God ever created, but they are not trained about this stuff the way that naturopathic physicians are. And in a perfect world, it would be illegal for an MD to practice general family practice medicine. We don't let chiropractors do open heart surgery, do we? No. Well, we shouldn't let MDs anywhere near a patient for general medicine. We should let MDs near people who need surgery. We should let MDs near people who have infectious disease, some of them. We should let MDs near people who have had trauma, because that's what they do best. But for goodness sake, share the information that I've generated here. Bring people to this radio show. Become an insider at my website. $20 a month will be the best $20 you've ever spent. Cancel at any time if, for whatever reason, you don't like it. You'll have immediate access to over 100 hours of archived health information, 3 hours of live stuff every week. And this is how we're going to change the world, with information dissemination, because once you've experienced the truth, you are in its velvet grasp forever. Kim in Vermont is up next. Hey, Kim, thanks for the phone call. You are live.
Hi, Dr. Glidden. Thanks for taking my phone call. I really appreciate it.
Hey, well, I really appreciate Vermont. I used to go to Vermont quite a bit. What part of the state do you live in?
In East Montpelier.
Oh, yeah. How do you like it?
I love it. It's out in the country. It's really nice, very quiet, beautiful, and a good place to have kids.
Yeah. How was your winter this winter?
It was pretty brutal, actually. It was very icy and cold, and the spring has been pretty cold too. But I think we're finally starting to warm up, so that's good.
Yeah, I think so too. Now, are you a transplant, or were you born and raised in Vermont?
Pretty much born and raised. I moved out of state for a short while, but I was born here and back here.
So you related at all to Ethan Allen and the Green Mountain Boys at all? No?
No, not at all.
Yeah, I love the state of Vermont. For a couple of years, I matriculated at Williams College in Williamstown, Massachusetts, right up in the northwest corner of the state.
Oh, okay.
About 5 minutes from the Vermont border and 10 minutes from the New York border. It's a beautiful part of the country, especially, oh my God, in October. Doesn't October just blow your mind?
Absolutely. Absolutely, yeah. It's the best time of the year.
Yeah, folks, in the listening audience, if you've never been to Vermont or New Hampshire in October, you have to go because when the leaves turn color and they're in full bloom, I mean, it is absolutely breathtaking. Check it out. Kim, thanks for the phone call. How can I help?
Okay, well, about 2 months ago, I had gotten out of the shower and I was just drying off, and I noticed that I had a lump on my breast, and when I checked it, I realized that there was a little tiny lump. There was a medium-sized one and a large one. A large one was probably about an inch wide, and I tried not to panic, and I noticed that within a few days, the largest one started to go down, and since then, the tiniest one has disappeared, and the largest one has gone from probably about an inch to about a half of an inch in size. And so, I haven't gone to the doctors. I'm not a big fan of doctors, which is why I listen to your show. I mean, you're obviously a doctor, but not a fan of the typical doctor visit, I guess you could say, because I don't agree with their treatments. And I felt like it was most likely not cancerous because I felt like it rapidly, decreased in size. That was just my personal opinion. So anyways, I have been taking the Tangy Tangerine for probably about 10 months. And a couple weeks ago, I ordered some more supplements, and I started taking the EFA Plus 3 times a day. And I'm taking selenium 6 a day, 3 in the morning, 3 at night. The OsteoFX Plus liquid, 2 tablespoons in the morning, 2 at night. The plant-derived minerals, 2 tablespoons in the morning, 2 at night. So, 1, I wanted to get your opinion, and 2, I wanted to see if what I'm taking is the right supplement.
Well, how much do you weigh?
125.
Okay. And have you eliminated the 10 bad foods?
Yes.
Okay, great. So, well, you're absolutely spot on correct that one of the characteristics of cancer is that it's painful and or bloody. And cancerous stuff anywhere in the body doesn't get smaller, it gets bigger, or it doesn't change in size whatsoever. It's always better to be cautious here, and there's a lot of controversy in the field depending upon whom you talk to and what their actual open mind factor is like and what their clinical experience is like. Mm-hmm. For years, the standard drill in the MD's office was mammogram, 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 and guess what? Now the latest recommendation is don't do a mammogram because they cause more harm than they do good. The MDs again have changed the goalpost. They used to say biopsy, 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 and well, then they're finding that if it is a tumor and you pierce the capsule with your little biopsy needle, you can actually help the tumor to spread. So, from my point of view, with something like this, as long as you're seeing a shrinking going on, mm-hmm. then you're in a good place. One thing that I would do is I would do the lymphatic breathing. Were you listening to the program the day that we discussed that?
Was that a few weeks ago? I remember listening to something, yes.
All right. So lymphatic breathing is large, forced breaths, inhalation through the nose, expanding your chest at the top of the inhalation, and then a slow and steady exhalation through the mouth, In through the nose, expand the chest at the top, and out through the mouth. Long, deep breath in, a long, deep breath out. It's not a hyperventilation. It's just kind of long, slow, and steady, deep breaths in and deep breaths out. And this, if done correctly, it increases the lymphatic activity in the human body, which would be very helpful for you here. Are you an exercise person at all?
I actually am a fitness instructor.
All right. Well, once you've kind of gotten your body used to the lymphatic breathing, the key to the lymphatic breathing is expanding the rib cage at the top of the inhalation. It's expanding the rib cage at the top of the inhalation. Once you've kind of gotten into that groove, anything you can do with your body by way of exercise is great. Like if you have a little trampoline, you can run in place on it or bounce up and down on it, or you can walk on a treadmill or on an elliptical or something, right, in order to increase circulation of the blood while you're doing the lymphatic breathing. The recommendation, 10 minutes twice a day. Supplement-wise, I would increase my supplements of selenium to 9 a day.
9 a day, okay.
I would do 9 a day of the selenium, and I would do 12 a day of the EFA Plus, and I would do the EFA Plus exclusively. That's 4, 4, and 4. 9 a day of the selenium, 3, 3, and 3. And if you can handle it, I don't know what the status quo of your stomach is. Some people can take a supplement on an empty stomach, some can't. The selenium would be better absorbed and better utilized on an empty stomach, or taken with a meal that doesn't contain phytates. So you could, eat an apple and swallow the selenium supplement, or whatever.
Okay, I've already been taking it on an empty stomach, and I've been I've looked at the phytates, and I've been really cautious about not eating anything with that.
Okay, great. And the recommendation for the Tangy would be 3 scoops a day, 3 level scoops a day. Are you doing that?
I'm doing 2 scoops a day.
Yeah, 3. Taking 3 of anything is a hard thing to do. Taking supplements and 3 times a day, that's a hard thing to do unless you're really disciplined. So you could do a scoop and a half in the morning and a scoop and a half in the afternoon or the evening, but I want you to get 3 level scoops of the Beyond Tangy a day.
Okay.
All right. Now, the only other thing that you could do here, which ostensibly would help, and I'm pretty sure that the lymphatic breathing is going to cut the mustard here for you, but it's never a bad idea, especially if you're an exercise person, as an experiment, to increase your antioxidant intake to a remarkable degree for a week or 2 or 3, right? And there's a million ways to do that.
Okay.
You can, use cinnamon or curry powder or dark-skinned fruits or triple treat chocolate, whatever you want in order to increase your antioxidants. That's a fun thing, by the way. Well, I don't know, fun thing, but it's an interesting thing to do, ladies and gentlemen. Educate yourself about what an antioxidant is, and there's a million ways to get antioxidants in your body. Antioxidants are scored by their ORAC score. That's ORAC. So for 21 days in a row, consume a minimum of 50,000 ORAC points of antioxidants a day and see how you feel. Most people are going to notice a difference, and that wouldn't be a bad thing for you to do at this point in time, Kim, until this stuff in the breast resolves.
So you would say 9 selenium a day?
Yes, I would.
The EFA Plus, 3 scoops of the Beyond Tangerine. Anything else?
No, ORAC, antioxidants, however you want to do that.
Yeah, I was going to order the triple treat chocolate then.
Yeah, make sure you do the triple treat and not the triple truffle. And be careful when you place the order, because I think right now the summer shipping rules apply, and the shipping for the triple treat chocolate during the warmer months is kind of high.
Oh, okay.
So, Cell Shield RTQ has 8,000 ORAC per capsule. The Immortalium, I think, has 4,000 ORAC per capsule. But, you don't just have to do it with supplements, right? Green tea, curry powder, cinnamon, cayenne pepper, right? There's a lot of different ways to skin that cat. But I would make it a mandatory thing for you, until the breast situation resolves itself, to have 50,000 ORAC minimum every day in your body, however you can do it. Appreciate the phone call, Kim. Hey, give me a call back in a couple weeks with a report, please. I we'll look forward to it. And I'm a little jealous of you living up there in Vermont. It's a beautiful state, by the way. If you've never been there, ladies and gentlemen, go in October and tell them Dr. Glidden sent you. Amy from Georgia's up next. Stick around. I'm in the mood for some Southern hospitality. Let's mosey on down to Georgia and talk to Amy. Georgia. Hey, Amy. Thanks for the phone call. You alive.
Thank you for taking my call, and I appreciate you so much. Been listening to your programs for a couple of months now, ever since I started taking the Youngevity products. What I have multiple cyst problems, but I wanted to talk to you today about in 2007 I had a TIA. There was really no diagnosis with that, no reasoning for that, just take an aspirin and call us if you need us. And then also around that time, I was diagnosed with a spastic colon, and been taking care of the spastic colon, through diet and doing my best. I just reintroduced some grass-fed cheese and yogurt, and I think that really just aggravated hemorrhoids and whatnot. And so you're having problems with that. And with the TIA, I was left with a sluggish lymphatic system, and I was listening in to the previous caller, and you did give me a lot of information on, what to do with lymphatics. But the past week, I've been having the tightness on the top of my head. And this past weekend, on Saturday, I had a really tight on top of my head, and it just kind of fell to the back of my head and down my spine, and my heart was racing somewhat, but I was able to get calmed down and feeling better, but it's just on and off. It happened again this morning, and I just laid out of work. So I'm wondering if you could maybe give me some information, maybe what's happening there, or if you have any idea, and I could tell you what I'm taking.
Yeah, all right, great. So the very first time that you had a TIA, which, by the way, is an acronym, ladies and gentlemen, for something called a transient ischemic attack, and that means an eeny-weeny-teeny jelly-beany little blood clot formed in the blood vessels of the brain, and caused a little microcircuiture death in the brain, and part of the body was affected. So when you had that first TIA, what did it feel like, and what were your symptoms?
It affected my left side, and it started in my fingertips of my left hand and went up my arm. It affected my speech, basically the whole left side of my body, and some sort of shock waves on the right side.
And how long did it take for you to recover from that?
Well, I've not really totally 100% basically recovered, because I still feel that left side, especially when I'm not, I had a kinesiologist tell me I need to walk for an hour a day. I need to jump on the trampoline for 20 minutes a day and do skin brushing. And when I'm not religious on, basically doing the skin brushing and the trampoline, I feel my left side more. It really seemed to have repaired circulation. All
right. Well, that's kind of a stopgap intervention there, the skin brushing and the trampoline. But if you add the lymphatic breathing to the bouncing on the trampoline, you're going to love how that makes you feel. But more to the point here, it was published in a major medical journal about 9 months ago that selenium supplementation decreases by 50% the recovery time of stroke victims, and TIA is like a mini stroke. So if selenium supplementation helps people recover from stroke faster, then guaranteed it's going to help people recover from TIAs faster. So if you haven't already done it, you need to add the ultimate selenium into your daily program, and which again begs the question.
I have that. I just don't know the amount.
Well, how much do you weigh?
130.
All right, so I would do 9 a day. Between meals, 3, 3, and 3. You also need to be eating food that's high in cholesterol because
Yes,
you're
I started on the eggs.
Okay, great.
Try to do 8 eggs a day. So,
All right, very good. Don't be afraid of butter. Don't be afraid of salt.
Right. Okay.
Don't be afraid of anything else that has cholesterol in it because it's only, it's not everybody that can eat 8 eggs a day every day until they get bored of it, right? So full-fat milk, full-fat yogurt, right? I'm going to talk to you about the spastic colon thing here in a minute because that's important. Here's a heartbreak, Amy. Stick around. More to come when we come back. Welcome aboard, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden, and this is Fire Your MD Now. George is on my mind today. A long time ago, spent 9 very interesting months below the Mason-Dixon line. I was in Durham, North Carolina. And I have to tell you, Southern hospitality is a very real thing. We're talking to Amy from Georgia about what she can do to get her health back. So, how much of the... so, I would be doing, if I were you, 3 scoops of the Beyond Tangy Tangerine a day.
Okay.
And I'd be doing 3 ounces of the white liquid calcium. And if you're taking the powdered calcium, I would switch to the liquid.
I have the liquid. Yeah, and I do have receding gums and all that. So.
All right. Now, when you get this tight feeling on the top of your head or whatever, right?
Yes. Yes.
Then I would take more calcium.
Oh.
And don't be afraid of that. And it's absorbed into your body more efficiently, I believe, if you mix it with a little citrus juice like orange or pineapple or something like that.
Okay.
So because of the way that you've been feeling lately, I would do 4 ounces of calcium a day. I'd do an ounce of calcium in a little orange juice every 3 hours, more or less. And see if that doesn't take a bite out of your symptomology. It's also going to help with the spastic colon because when any part of the body goes into spasm, it's muscles that are doing that, and muscles go into spasm or they twitch or they quiver or they Charlie horse up on you because of not enough calcium and magnesium. So I think this could all boil down to just another manifestation of not enough calcium for you. But we don't want to neglect the neurological system either. And by the way, one of the things that prevents stroke, and Dr. Wallach sued the Food and Drug Administration for something called a qualified health claim, so that we can say this without being thrown in jail, that essential fatty acid supplementation, EFA supplementation, virtually eliminates the risk of stroke. And so because of your history of TIAs, you need to be Johnny on the spot with your EFA supplementation and at your body weight. Because of your history, for 6 months, I would do 12 EFA plus a day.
Now, with the EF Plus, it has sardines in it, I noticed. And I've had allergic reactions to sardines.
Oh, very good. Okay, so then you need to get I think it's called multi-EFAs. The multi-EFAs don't have any fish in them whatsoever.
Okay.
And the recommendation, again, would be 12 a day for 6 months. And then you could probably pot it back to 9 a day. But for the next 6 months, because of your history, I'd like to see you do 12 a day and 9 selenium as well.
I've been taking the EFA with the forage oil and whatever.
And you're okay with that? You're not having a reaction to it? Well, the multi-EFAs, I think, would be a smarter thing for you to do.
It's the smartest. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
All right. Well,
and, of course, don't even look at the 10 bad foods, right?
Oh, no. I've been doing this for a couple of months, but I just recently had this reaction. I thought, well, gosh, is this a healing effect? Or
no, it's not a healing effect. I believe it's a lack of calcium effect.
It just showing up, you know.
Yeah,
as a
so
kid.
do more calcium. The body's a funny
Okay.
thing. It goes in ebbs and flows like this. So that's what I would do. Punch it up a little bit, and in about 7 days, give me a call back with a report. I got to move on, Amy. I appreciate
All right.
you very much. Thanks so much. Hey, who is it? Our old friend Alaric from Texas is back. Right, cowboy. Welcome back, Alaric. You are live.
Thank you. I did what you told me to do for 14 days. This is the 14th day. I noticed that my wound in the foot that my toes were removed is a lot of stuff is coming out. So, it's still a little fat, but the other one is getting small. So I guess that's some improvement. And I'm walking and I'm breathing and I'm doing it sometimes an hour a day, 2 times a day, 15 minutes at a time. Sometimes I'm doing it a lot, as much as I can. My body's getting used to that, I'm noticing.
Yeah, okay. So when you're feeling a resolution happening?
I feel something is occurring. I mean, one foot gets skinnier. Before it was both feet were fat. While after I walk, one foot gets skinny, but the other one gets skinny too, but there's a lot of pus coming out of where the wound is. And that's another thing, this wound I've had for 18 months.
Yeah, and you're doing the colloidal silver on the wound?
Yeah,
Okay.
I put it on there, and I try to get all the dead skin out, but then there's something that's still trying to come out of it.
Yeah. So how often do you apply the colloidal silver?
Once in a while, because I want to leave it open so that it'll dry and heal, but that doesn't seem like that's occurring.
Well, you can spray the colloidal silver onto it. If I were you, as an experiment, Alaric, I would put the colloidal silver in a little spray bottle, and I would spray that open wound every 30 minutes for 1 day. Spray the crap out of it every 30 minutes for 1 day and see what happens. Now, what advice did they give you about bandaging it?
They just threw me out. The hospital, to tell you the truth. They just said, all right, you can go now, goodbye.
Yeah. So how big is the wound?
The wound is about, the old dollar pieces?
Yeah.
Yeah, about that size.
All right, so here's what I want you to do. I want you to get some sterile gauze. Or get those big fat Band-Aids. Those big fat Band-Aids. I want you to find a Band-Aid that will fit over that. I want you to spray it with colloidal silver, and then I want you to bandage it. Spray it with colloidal silver and bandage it. And then 3 hours later, remove a little, peel one piece of the bandage back, spray it again with colloidal silver, and then rebandage it. Spray it again with colloidal silver and rebandage it every 3 hours. Of course, you don't have to do that while you're sleeping, but you want to colloidal silver it right before bed and then bandage it up and see if that doesn't facilitate the healing. Now, I want you to do this for 7 days. Sometimes wounds like this, they need a drain put in them in order to facilitate the body getting rid of the crap that it's trying to get rid of. Is it red or inflamed around the edge of the wound and getting worse and worse and worse, or is it pretty much status quo?
It's, how can I say, it's around the middle. The skin is it's like the pus is coming up and drying. It's like a lot of dead skin in the middle, and around it is like it's trying to dry and heal. But since the foot gets fat, it's hard to tell sometimes what's occurring.
Yeah,
it's still fat.
Yeah, I get it. And the reason that the foot is fat, right, is because of not enough protein in the blood, and not enough protein in the blood is caused by faulty digestion. Faulty digestion is fixed with the ultimate enzymes, salt, and more calcium. And, of course, you want to eat more protein. So you got a bunch of things going on here. You got the background blood sugar issue. You've got the digestive tract issue and the wound. So, right, this is like the beast with 3 heads. We got to do 3 things all at once. So I want you to try this strategy with the colloidal silver and the bandage, right, every 3 hours. And make sure that every time you eat, 50% of what you eat is protein. You're salting your food so that it tastes good, I assume?
Big time.
Okay, great. And are you doing any digestive enzymes?
I was. What I'm doing now is the Immortalium, and I'm doing the root beer belly.
All right. So I would get some digestive enzymes, or if you don't have immediate access to those, get a lemon, get a bunch of lemons, and I want you to do an ounce of lemon juice in an ounce of warm water about 15 minutes before you eat a meal. An ounce of fresh squeezed lemon juice and about an ounce of warm water. Just throw it down like, we're in the Wild West and we're shooting down shots of whiskey. Throw it down about 15 minutes before a meal. That will help your stomach acid to kind of kick into gear and be secreted. That's an old-fashioned naturopathic digestion stimulation. It's not a bad idea. Now, if you really want to press that envelope, go to the liquor store and get a little tiny bottle of Angostura bitters. Get a little bottle of bitters. It's the best one is called Angostura, A-N-G like Gottfried, U-S-T like Thomas, U-R-A bitters, and put 3 or 4 drops of the bitters into the lemon juice water mixture and pound that down at the very beginning of a meal. And that will really get your digestive juices flowing. That's a good thing for you to do. And really the only other thing that you need here, because you're getting improvement, right? You just need to give it a little more time, understand what we're trying to do. You have a lot of holes to fill here, Alaric. There's a lot of stuff going on in your body, but you're doing a good job. And I don't even want to consider, man, where you would be now had you not hooked up with us however many months ago, right? I mean, because you were a sinking ship, man, and
big time, yeah,
big time, right? So we just got to keep it all in perspective, and any type of improvement we can get, we're going to hold on to.
With the Immortalium, can I up my dosage, because that's like 10,000 ORAC?
Yeah, you can take as much of that as you want. There's no harm and no foul there whatsoever. You want to spread the doses out, though.
Yeah, about like 2-3 times a day, or 2-3 times a day, something like that.
Yeah, well, if you're going to take more of it, it would be prudent to take it 3 times a day and spread it out, because that's a time release thing. That little capsule's a time release capsule. So if you take it all at once, it kind of defeats the purpose. I would spread it out, every 4 hours, more or less. It's not a bad idea.
Every 4 hours, you say, about?
Yeah, pop a couple of Immortalium every 4 hours. No harm, no foul there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, brother.
Back in 2 weeks.
Yeah, even better. 7. Give me a call back in about a week after you've done this colloidal silver bandaging experiment, because I want to see what's going on. All right.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
All right. It's always a pleasure to talk to you, buddy. I appreciate it very much. Nevada, I think. Is that Nevada is up next? Lisa from Nevada. Hey, Lisa. Thanks for the phone call. You are live.
Hi, I have a question regarding high eye pressure and hyperthyroidism. What can help that?
Well, from our point of view, eye pressure, like glaucoma, which is what the MDs call it, it's fancy schmancy doctor talk for increased pressure in the eyes, happens because the little tiny blood vessels and lymphatic vessels that feed the eye are plugged up. It's no different, really, than the drain in your sink getting plugged up, and then, the water backs up, right? So when everything's healthy, there's good fluid into the eye and bad fluid out of the eye, and the eye regulates its pressure all by itself. But because of inappropriate diet, low levels of inflammation happen in the body, and then the body breaks at its weakest link. And so when we have low levels of inflammation happening in the body all of the time, one of the things that can happen as a fallout to that is the little tiny circulatory vessels in and around the eyes get clogged and jammed up. So the protocol here is to decrease inflammation in the body and supplement your diet with stuff that's good for your eyes. You stick around with me, Lisa, on the other side of the break. I'll tell you exactly how to do that. I appreciate your call. Stick around, folks. More to come. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. That's the pharmaceutical industry trying to sneak into your house. You know how they do it? Through direct-to-consumer ads on TV. You've had a hard day's work. You're trying to relax in front of the tube, and what do you see? Antacid this, antacid that, Humira this, Humira that, Abilify this, Lunesta that. You've got to be kidding me. Let's finish it up here with Lisa in Nevada. So, Lisa, from our point of view, you need to stop eating foods that are pro-inflammatory, right? And one of the greatest ironies here is that a lot of the food that you were told by the food industry is healthy for you really isn't that healthy. And so there are 10 foods that we recommend everybody eliminate. Are you familiar with that list?
Not really.
All right. Please visit my website, fireyourmdnow.com or drglidden.com. They both go to the same place. Scroll down on the front page until you see a link for the 10 bad foods. I also did a free webinar that's available through a link on my website. It explains what the 10 bad foods are, and it explains why they're bad. So a little bit of knowledge here goes a long way. So when you eliminate those foods from your diet, you're going to go a long way towards knocking down the inflammation that we believe is the causative factor here for the blood vessel funkiness in and around the eye. Number 2, it would be prudent for you to supplement your diet with vitamins and minerals and essential fatty acids and the like, which increase your body's ability to have healthy eyes and which support and promote the fire department of your body, which is that part of your body which is responsible for putting out the fires of inflammation. Most people don't know that their body has a fire department. They're aware of the police department of the body, which is the immune system, but the body also has a fire department that it uses to put out the fires of inflammation. So, in order to do that, the recommendation is, what's your current body weight, Lisa?
At 128.
All right, so here's what I would do every day. Every month for 90 days by way of experiment to see if you gain traction here. And I'll end up by telling you about the hyperthyroid condition as well. Okay, so at 128 pounds, my recommendation to support and promote healthy eyes would be 1 anti-aging Healthy Start Pack, original formula. 1 anti-aging Healthy Start Pack, original formula. 3 bottles of Ultimate Selenium, S like Sam, E, L like Larry, ENIUM. 3 Ultimate Selenium and 1 bottle of Ultimate Daily Capsules. Ultimate Daily Capsules. You're also going to want to educate yourself about antioxidant foods that are high in antioxidants. Mm-hmm. And your total antioxidant intake, the goal should be 50,000 ORAC. 50,000 oxygen radical absorption capacity points, antioxidant points, 50,000 ORAC points a day. Now, if you do that, those 2 things, eliminate the 10 bad foods and take those supplements, I would anticipate that at 128 pounds, you should see a reduction in the eye pressure within 90 days. But in the meantime, other things should improve. Mood, energy, appetite, sleep, whatever. Because this is not really, an eye program as much as it is a Lisa from Nevada health recovery program. Whenever the thyroid is at play, the recommendation is to visit a chiropractor and have them assess the curvature of your neck, because the neck has a curvature that it's supposed to have when it's healthy. And if the curvature is not correct, if it's reversed or if it's not even there, that's going to interrupt the nerve signals to your thyroid. And when you interrupt the nerve signals to your thyroid, any number of things can happen. Underactive thyroid, overactive thyroid. This could also be a simple nutrient deficiency. So you want to make sure you're salting your food so that it tastes good with salt that has iodine added to it. Okay. Whether it's Himalayan salt or Celtic salt or just good old-fashioned Morton's table salt with iodine added, you want to be not afraid of salt. You want to be using salt to your advantage. Salt your food so that it tastes good. Your body will let you know when you've had enough. Also, visit a chiropractor, have them assess the curvature of the neck, and in the meantime, you can eat vegetables that depress thyroid function. The cruciferous vegetables, broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, and eggplant will help while we're nutrifying the body and keeping our fingers crossed. Thanks so much for the call. We're out of time. Ladies and gentlemen, God willing and the creek don't rise. See you tomorrow. Same time, same channel. Till then, God bless, live long, and prosper.